We are attempt number 372 to figure out what's wrong with our furler. I think these bearings, they sound really good when they're down here. When we put them up to the top and put them under tension, they definitely sound kind of grindy and crunchy. And I just went up to the top of the mast while Kika stayed down here and unrolled it. And the bearings definitely sound grindy and crunchy. So hopefully they need some grease. And if not, we might have to replace this whole thing because they're not gonna sell replacement bearings or replacement bearing tracks for these anymore. So I'm gonna pull this apart. Hopefully we don't lose anything. And a bit of an inspection, a bit of grease. See if that helps. Sounds terrible. I really don't want to have to undo this one. First, I'm gonna make a bit of a bearing catcher out of some tin foil. Try to make a bit of a bearing catcher out of some tin foil. Don't know how well that's gonna work either. Surprisingly, there's actually still grease in here. In there. There's still grease in here, look at that. We didn't lose any bearings. The problem with the way that this furler is built and set up is that there's bearings at the top, 2 sets of bearings in the middle, and then a set of bearings at the bottom, and that's just the swivel. In order to do it properly, the whole thing has to come down. So we performed like some bomb diffusing surgery and we're able to like separate it just by enough that the bearings didn't come out, but we could squeeze some grease down inside. And now we'll spin it around a whole bunch and like let the grease settle in and hopefully that fixes it. I just lifted up the top set of bearings only to hear some of the bottom ones fall out. This is why I hate this design. When we rebuilt this furler, when we first got the boat 7, 8 years ago now, I kept some of the original stainless bearings because it was a mixture of stainless bearings and some like plastic ones, and kept the original version of the ones that I reordered. So we've got spares. Knew someday we were gonna need these. Time to perform some surgery and get out the last like couple. The bearing track, like the cup side of the bearing track, is upside down. Like it's on this part, which goes down over top, which means there's no place to like put the bearings in to hold them in place while I lower that down. When I originally did this, I'm pretty sure I installed it upside down and then put this on and put it in upside right. But we're not taking the whole forestay down. So I think I'm gonna try to just like put each ball bearing in with a little bit of grease and that'll hold it in place. And then we can lower this swivel back down on top of it. And then the other one should be relatively easy because gravity will hold them in place mostly. Grease it up.
Stuck it in there.
And glue it in place.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say grease around it.
One bearing at a time.
So I can see.
Nah. That was the hard one. Feels better. We only lost about 5 bearings to Neptune. Well, actually 2 of them are in the sail, so we'll get them back maybe. But we have a whole bunch of spares. These are all the ones that came out of the furler when we first got it, and the spare ones that I ordered to replace, because I replaced all these bearings when we first got it. We even have some new ones left over, so we have plenty of spares, which is a good thing, because I knew someday, eventually, this was going to be a project we'd have to do, and inevitably we'd lose some of those bearings, because it's a royal pain in the ass to try to do it, especially with this installed. But the swivel's greased, and this bearing is greased, and this is the important one. There are some more bearings down here, but that's just to have the drum roll on, and so they're not as important because they're never under any tension. This swivel at the bottom for the sail and the swivel at the top are the ones that are under a lot of tension from the head sail halyard. Now that they're all greased, it's gonna be time to hoist the head sail again and give it a test, and hopefully it's easier. That's kind of my last great idea. If this doesn't work, then it might be time to just replace this whole thing because it's 40 years old.
Never mind.
The real cave.
I guess, are we all going?
Black Diamond. Give a shout out to Black Diamond.
sponsored by Silly Uma.
Sailing Uma. Black
I should
Diamond.
cover it with my sticker, right?
Yeah, you should have it. And we've got a bit of Petzl going on there,
I should
guys.
cover that with my sticker too.
Hashtag Petzl.
Hashtag not sponsored. Nice. Feels like we're doing something naughty.
I know, we just went behind the gate. Today we're getting a behind the scenes tour of St. Michael's Cave. Our all aboard instructor James is a cave guide, and so we are suited up. We just left the tourist entrance behind and we are heading into the better side of the cave.
Oh, nice. Were you?
Just stand over there for a second. I have to lock you in.
Oh, we're locking ourselves in.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Someone put the lights on, please.
Holy.
Just jump down there for me.
She's like, I'm in.
She's had that one before.
I don't mind.
This was one of the original tunnels, and people kept hurting themselves.
I wonder why.
That was totally legit.
But there is a story to it. During World War II, there was a couple of guys from the RAF. They actually came in via the top tunnel over here, and they went down into this original area before any of this was moved, as you can see, or explored. And they basically faked their own deaths. They put a load of ropes down, they cut their arms, they did all that, and they basically followed the trail of the rope, and it got to a dead end, and they couldn't get any further. And they went down this tunnel. Now this tunnel, you would just about fit down it. Like none of us I've never got down that tunnel. It kicks up a lot of sand, a lot of ground, and you can't really get down it any further. You'd have to be absolutely tiny to get in. They think they went down there. Turns out they didn't. They actually faked their own deaths because they had a load of casino debts from up, down, around, like farming and stuff like that. And they faked their own death. And they tried to claim in on their RAF life insurance policy, which they did. And then they figured out they bought villas, really haciendas they called them at the time. Also they think, there's another side to the story, they think that someone actually claimed the life insurance policy and pretended to be them, and it was all their wives doing. So there's two sides to that story. So down there somewhere there's two little RAF men. So always 3 points of contact to a stairwell, and watch your head as you hit the bottom over there. Okay?
Don't hit the bottom.
Yeah, try and hit the bottom.
Wait, one minute. I'm confused. Having
Should we do
PTSD.
See you on the other side.
Or not. Oh, shoot. Come on, you ready? Oh, you can climb down with your arm. So this was actually blown apart by one of the sappers, so the Royal Engineers, because that's what they do. They blow shit up and build bridges. That's all they do and drink tea. They drink lots of tea, copious amounts of tea. But if we hadn't blown this up by accident, this area here, we would never have discovered what's beyond there.
Wait, this has been blown up?
Up from that part there, yeah. So this part over here, they were meant to go down that way, but it was a bad night in Jib. He was throwing up his beers from the night before, and he went that way. So he forgot his port and starboard, didn't he? That's what happened.
Well, it sounds like he drank too much port.
He definitely drank too much port. So this is our Braithwaite's chamber, so we can thank him for actually finding this beautiful cave. All right?
It's like right down my alley.
You got touch.
Yes, you can see. Right.
Whoa.
Okay, the ways we can do this, and please bear in mind, we've got to come back up the way we came.
Oh.
There we go. Just keep on your bottom on the way down. I need toddler down. There we go. He knows me.
Wow.
So,
That's the swimming pool.
that's it.
That's a cave.
End it up.
Oh, nice.
So as you can see, this is where our footing really needs to be careful now. So,
All right, I'm clear.
things like if you look up there,
Jabba the Hutt.
or Slimer, Ghostbusters. And then that man over there, that's Winston Churchill.
Oh, gee.
So years and years and years ago, there was this sort of urban legend, and when you make legends up in caves, it's basically to stop people going into them. So you hear like the haunted witch of Jerez or something like that, and it's to scare off the kids from coming in because the fire service or the cave rescue just don't want to be going out on a Saturday night to pick up beer cans and try and rescue kids. So in Jerez, there was this interesting thing where this woman put this sheet out, like these clothes, and through calcification of the way the water went down, over time, the clothes became solid. And it looks like, as you go into this cave now, it's like a stone clothing. It's pretty cool. So years and years ago, one of the guides, he brought his son down here, and they wanted to try and make these toys and calcify them. So hundreds of years from now, we could tell this story. This is the cathedral. You've got 1, 2, 3 columns.
Jesus. Yeah. It's like...
My hands are up here.
Oh, grab him.
So am I away on that?
First thing we're going to do is we're going to put just one hand into the water. So just follow what I do. I want you to put your thumb into the middle of your hand. And I want you to put your fingers like you're making a really bad fist. Give it a shake inside. Okay. And bring it out. Keep it tight, nice and tight. Okay. So now what we need to do is shake your hand. Okay, you know what that does, yeah? So keep shaking until it's dry. Now we're going to slowly, but very slowly, as in millimetre by millimetre, open our fingers. Very slowly. You feel it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't open my hands.
Mine's broke.
You feel that stickiness?
Yeah.
That is what will happen to your insides if you were to start
It
drinking.
gets sticky.
Okay.
It's like glue for your
Yeah, a little
intestine.
bit.
Glue for your poo.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's...
Stay here and I'll go across. Like this?
Ooh, crossover.
You good?
People like to sit down, not on it.
Oh, it has balls too.
Sit down. Right guys, so this is the end of the tour basically. This is the end of the cave as far as we can go kind of safely. We have got the prison just in there, but we don't allow people to go in it at the moment because there's been too many people going in. It starts to build up a mould, which means it's starting to come alive. So we want to keep that as it is. This used to be a lake that you were stood on, and over time, brimstone's gone over. But you can really start seeing the layering of Gibraltar rock over here. When Africa pushed it, the tectonic plates. And now, I suppose it's the end of a tour, and you're all thinking, where's the exit?
The door's there.
Yeah, the door's back that way. Now, how far do you think we've come in?
Yeah, I would say half an hour. You said 3 hours, so maybe an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half, I would say. Yeah? So when you get outside, I want you to have a look at the actual caving diagram and see who was closest. Should we ask them what they think? How far do you think we've gone in, guys?
Don't ask Dan, he's going to be accurate.
250, 300 meters?
Half a mile.
Not bad, not far off.
So we just made it to the very end of the cave, well, as far as we can go in terms of a tour. It's been so cool. And now we're...
No, shh.
I know.
You're on YouTube.
Yeah, so we just made it to the very end of the cave, and now we have to go all the way back the same way that we came from. So
We'll just take all this footage and put it in reverse.
Right. I think we did about an hour and a half in, and now we have an hour and a half back out. So we're taking best to see how long of the cave we went to. Then you said 250.
250,
Something is
300.
falling on my shoe. Do we have to go through here? Oh shit! It is not warm. How deep is it down here? 4.5 meters. Then you can finally go there.
You can take a step.
That's the luggage. That's the...
Shit.
that, does it?
I'm doing some.
We're out. That was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, James.
Enjoy that.
That's fun.
The only group I have taken in the dark all the way from start to finish, other than instructors who know the cave. All right.
And how do we do as a group?
Am I filming?
Keegan just wants a compliment on camera.
Yes. No, be honest.
You did really well.
We got there and back.
We all got out safely.
Give me a percentage, a high percentage.
Of what? 2?
A percentage
High
of...
percentage. You did better than 95% of people.
Give me a percentage.
Wait, but if no one's done it in the dark, don't we did better than all the people?
Yeah.
We survived!